Hey, what's up, guys? Excuse me. Davey Crocko. Welcome back to the show. Wanted to put a video up. We are going to be streaming tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, on Odysee. If you're following me on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, Crocko Clips on YouTube, if you're subbed to Odysee, you should already know this, but we know how things work. So, 8 p.m. Eastern, just King Crocko Sunday night show. Just be a fun time, multi-topic show. You can see in the thumbnail we have some new legislation, pro-Israel stuff, but there's going to be tons to get into. All over the place too. Topics that are being underreported, not reported at all. Very interesting stuff. Deep dive show on multiple topics. Now, I wanted to make this quick video because I came across, or I was reading something from John W. Whitehead, and it was just called "The Right to Be Let Alone." And I always talk about this with what people believe to be the Constitution or what people believe to be the Bill of Rights. And they think they have all these freedoms because they're enshrined in them. And some people think they're God-given, which, if they truly were, then the corporation couldn't overrule that. The Corporation of the United States, which writes a corporate document known as the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and then amends it. Think of free speech. Well, if you had absolute free speech, you wouldn't have hate speech. You wouldn't have laws around if you say something, you could be infringing on someone else's rights. You wouldn't have anti-BDS laws. You wouldn't have anti-Semitism laws. So, Second Amendment. There'd be no gun control or gun laws if the Second Amendment was a right. It's more of a privilege. Now, he quotes a Supreme Court justice: "Experience teaches us to be most on our guard to protect liberty when the government's purposes are beneficent. There was a time when the census was just a head count." And he's talking about the census that goes out to millions of Americans. They'll find out who you like to vote for, personal info. The American Community Survey, sent to about 3.5 million homes every year, is a byproduct of a government that believes it has the right to know all of your personal business. Now, this is why the government creates social media platforms for you to put your own business on. If you haven't already received a survey, it's just a matter of time. A far cry from the traditional census, which is limited to ascertaining the number of persons living in each dwelling, which they don't have the right to know, their ages, ethnicities, the ownership of the dwelling, telephone numbers. The survey contains some of the most detailed and intrusive questions ever put forth in a questionnaire. At 28 pages, with an additional 16-page instruction packet, these questions concern matters that the government simply has no business knowing, including questions relating to respondents' bathing habits, home cost, fertility, marital history, work commute, mortgage, health insurance, personal. For instance, the ACS asked how many persons live in your home, along with their names and detailed information about them, such as their relationship to you, race, their physical, mental, and emotional problems. The survey also asked how many bedrooms and bathrooms you have in your house, along with the fuel used to heat the home, the cost of the electricity. Then the survey demands to know how many days you were sick last year, how many automobiles you own, and the number of miles driven, whether you have trouble getting upstairs. The questionnaire also demands that you give other information on people in your home. It's just an insane thing, guys. And they have the right to know none of it. And I just thought that'd be something I would just. I wanted to put a video out just to let you guys know I was streaming, but I thought that was kind of insane. Now we are going to get into this CIA and Mossad linked surveillance system quietly being installed throughout the US, but I have to be very careful what I can talk about on YouTube. But I can show you guys where the show starts here. LA Times claims that white people driving is bad for the environment. Women of Courage Award goes to a male on International Women's Day. I don't know what Alex Stein is doing. He's suing AOC for being blocked on Twitter. He's putting out apology videos for inappropriate comments on Blaze TV. Obviously, you know, he had a tranny in the studio and he had to tell him how beautiful he thought he was, which was very bizarre. Shout out to Zionist Inspection Day for getting this.
I love your takes. I think you're, very smart. I think you're very attractive. I think you're very attractive. But they want to say, hey, look, she's trans. I have to hate her, yada, yada, yada. So what do you say to all those ultra conservative people that don't want you to exist? I love your takes. I think you're, very smart. I think you're very attractive. I love your takes. I think you're
very bizarre. Very, very, very bizarre. But yeah, medical malice. I put this video up yesterday on my channel. Without warrants, FBI secretly working with hospitals to disarm Americans. It reminded me of HARPA. Talking about Anthony Fauci, could he be indicted? I highly doubt it, but at least there's talks around it. Facial recognition, Trump embracing the 15-minute city by calling it a freedom city. All of the anti-Semitism laws. We'll talk about the World Health Organization. Basketball players having to apologize for Women's History Month because they talked about women being the only ones being able to birth. Some geoengineering stuff from Make Sunsets, some Ohio train derailment residue. So a lot of stuff to get into. So make sure you're subbed to Odysee. Come check me out, 8 p.m. Eastern. Share it out with somebody you know. And as always, love you guys. Thanks for the support, and I'll see you tonight at 8 Eastern.